Do it in English. I'm about to break the virginity of the box. You want me to cut it, to bite it?
You do whatever you want.
Do you have a knife?
Yes.
Oh, it's broken. Thank you very much, Didier.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure to share.
Thank you very much.
Zweimal war er zweimal beim Smoke noch in der Apotheke, als das noch ging. Ein hochinteressanter Mensch, der seinen Vortrag in Englisch halten wird, das hoffentlich kein Problem sein wird für euch. Danke schon mal an Reiner, dass er so kurzfristig auch die Lounge so zur Verfügung stellen konnte. Nino dafür, dass er den Kontakt noch gepflegt und wiederhergestellt hat, dass er dann auch hierher kam. Und Didier, einfach, dass du da bist. Und now, come on, and
Yep.
it's your turn.
Thank you, Andreas, for this introduction. Thank you, Nino, for bringing me always in these good places. Thank you for having such a nice place. I think this is very rare to have such a big, nice place with such a diversity of things and diversity of cigars. So we don't have to forget that, especially in these days where the conditions become more and more difficult to have such kind of places. So we need to emphasize on that. Dankeschön for eine so schöne location. So yes, the last time I was here was long time back, and with all these COVID things even look longer because we lost 2 years nearly. We understood a lot of things about life. At least I tried to turn the negative into positive. So I think I spent 2 very interesting years. A lot of people have suffered, of course. A lot of people have died. Yes, so that's terrible. But at the same time, life is short. I think we live one time, so we need to enjoy life when we are blessed enough and happy enough to be able to enjoy it. So this is my philosophy when I live, when I'm alone, and especially when we have moments like this, because those moments are rich because we exchange. This is an experience. So we exchange around good cigars, around good drinks, around good food. I have seen that you have very good food here too. So that's nice. So when I contacted Nino a bit last minute or last second, even really, I said, look, I would like to come and see you and maybe see a few friends. I was not expecting as many friends, but this is even nicer because I wanted to meet after so many years, after so many things have happened, and also to share an important how can I say it? An important project that I had in my life. For the last 20 years, I'm from Belgium, and I'm engineer in agronomy, and I studied also in Cuba. And after I started writing a book about cigars, the first edition was in 2005 in French, then in 2008 in English. I also own several brands of cigars from Nicaragua, so Nicarao, Ley, La Furia, and Furia.
Ich habe alles da.
Yes. We talk about it slightly later. So this is what I do for the last 20 years. And when I finished the first book in English, I was a bit frustrated because I didn't like the form, and it's a paperback. And then straight away, also because I have so many ideas, so many exchanges around the cigar, I wanted to do a second edition. And not only the last 2 years, but the last 3 years, I nearly worked full time to finish a second edition. And I'm very happy to say and to share that the finished the texts, we finished all the drawings, because there is no pictures, there's only drawings. We finished the layout, we finished the specification of the printing with the printer. We have two versions, one classic version, one limited edition. And I'm very happy to say that since yesterday morning, now it's in press, officially in press. So it's getting printed, and it will be available in end of January probably, most probably. Or I say probably because maybe it's slightly earlier, but that's it. So I wanted to share that to my dear friend Lino and to all the friends. So what? This is I'm touring a little bit in Europe. So I did a tour in Belgium, in Luxembourg, in France, in Austria, in Switzerland, and now in Germany. Just to see the friends, not to do a lot of commercial things around cigars. It's always present because this is my life, this is my job. But the book is really something that comes from the heart, because I was blessed in my life to meet a lot of very interesting people. They have shared things with me, so I learned a lot from them. And the only thing that I could do is to carry on that journey, to take the things, to represent them differently, to do a lot of additional research, and to finalize this book that I hope it's a nice book about cigars. It's a book that is completely neutral, so I'm not talking about any brands, unless in the history chapter. But I'm not talking about any brands. It's really a book that is now, the first book was 1 volume and 168 pages. Now it's 2 volumes, 318 pages, in 11 chapters. The first book. So the first volume is about history, production. So from the terroir, the seed, the green leaf to the brown leaf to the cigar, and also a chapter about understanding the leaves, the quality of the leaves, and the quality of the cigar. So that's the first volume. The second volume is about the tasting, different tasting, because I believe now there are 3 ways to taste cigars. And also a very important, not big in the quantity of pages, but big in the quality and the importance of the pages, about conservation and aging. Yeah, so that's the second volume. So second volume is about tasting and conservation and aging. So that's a little bit about the book. Again, like I like to say, those moments I don't have to speak alone. Monologues are not very interesting. What is really interesting in life is it's good dialogues. So exchanging, because otherwise it's boring for everybody. If I'm the one speak alone, it's boring for you, and it's also boring for me. Because Buddha said, I live in Asia. Buddha said, when you say something, I don't know why I'm saying this actually, but this is an important sentence. Buddha said, when you say something you already know. When you listen, you learn. So I like to listen also. So please don't be shy. We are here to exchange. You can exchange around life, around wine. I'm very happy to, when I arrived here, I said, wow, this is so beautiful. Those wineries. It's so beautiful. So we can discuss about that. We can discuss about beer. From Belgium, so I like beers too. Obviously, we can discuss about cigars. We can discuss about the book. We can discuss about friendship, about life, about anything and everything. What I wanted to do to support this place, this kind of place in general, because, and I like to emphasize all the time on this, we love cigars, and we need to make sure cigar has a long life in front, and in front of the difficulties of the context in which the cigar is. This kind of place is very rare. We need to support them. the retailers, some have really hard time. We need to support them. The distributors, we need to support them also. We need to keep the whole channel alive and solid for the future, because if one is disappearing, we lose all our passion, or the subject of our passion. So we need to support those places. So I came also with a special cigar, which is a cigar that is very dear to my heart. This is a cigar we cannot buy anymore, because this is a very limited edition I did. So it's a Lancero in the La Ley brand. It's a Reserva from 2017. So we blended it. We never blend alone, but so we blended it. I work with Didier Houvenaghel. Probably you know him. He's a fantastic producer in Nicaragua. So the blend was done in 2017. Since then, the leaf were aging. The cigar was aging. It's a very limited edition. We produced it in jars, so in an Italian porcelain jar. They all went so fast. When we released it, in 1 week it was gone. So this is not a commercial product anymore, because it's not available. So it's probably not the right cigar to share, because people cannot buy it. But it's the right cigar to share because I just love it. And the best thing to share are the things that we like. So in order to support the place here, and as I have seen that there's a lot of cigars from my brands, if you guys buy a box of cigar, I will with a lot of pleasure share a few of those cigars with you. So if you play the game, you buy a lot of boxes from here, and you can enjoy this nice cigar. I don't know if it's a good idea.
Good idea.
It's a good idea. So that's it. So after, I can give a little bit of. So in the blend, the first cigar I put it here.
Oh, thank you.
I launched La Ley cigar in 2000. I started blending. I started develop the project, the direction, the objective in 2010, and in 2013 or 14 on these dates, we started the first sales of La Ley brand. And La Ley, what is so special about La Ley? Because I fell in love with aging. When we have good products, aging brings another dimension to that product. When we have a good potential of aging, and when we have a good conservation, the product is increasing in quality up to a certain climax for a certain time, and after it's going down. But so if we are patient enough to keep the products a little bit of time, then it's increasing in quality. And then we need to be careful, because if we wait too long, then after it's going, it's like for wines. It's exactly the same curve. The curve of aging is like. So I started loving really aging cigars, and I was blessed again to have conversations with people more knowledgeable about aging than me, and including Nino and some friends of Nino.
Ronnie.
Of course, Mr. Ronnie from Hong Kong. This is a person I'm exchanging a lot and learn so much from his knowledge, from his big heart, because he's sharing some of his collection. So I could learn so much, and we had a lot of beautiful evening nights exchanging, and I learned so much about it. So I love aging. Good things, not bad things. Aging bad things, they stay bad. But when you age good things, with what we call potential of aging, they're getting better. So that was the genesis of La Ley Classic. And then in 2000, slightly after 2014, 2015, I started a new concept of Reserva. Because normally when we do a blending, So blending is we decide, we select the 5 leaves, we put the leaf together, we do the test. If we like the test, the sample, oh, okay, that's the blend for the cigar. And then we start the production. After the production, we go to escaparate, to drying, then we put in the boxes, then we put the boxes in the container, then we put the container on the boat, and then the boat arrives in the selling countries, and then the selling country goes to the distributor, then to the retailer, then to in all hands. But for the Reserva, I decided, let's do an aging before we start selling. So basically, when I agreed on the plan, say, okay, this is the plan I want, then I said, okay, wait, we do a first extra aging as leaf. And then, after some time, 1 year, 1.5 years, we roll, and then we age another time. We have a bonded warehouse in Belgium. This is where I have the cellar. Keep the cigar there for some for a few months, some others for a few years, and in the case of Reserva, for a few years. So basically, the Reserva is a double additional aging in leaves and in cigars. Because the dynamic of aging in leaf is different than in the cigar. It's like the aging of a whiskey, of a rum, or even wine in a barrel or in the bottle. It's the same concept, chemically, biochemically, it's the same concept, I would say, but the dynamic is very different. So this is the concept of Reserva, a double aging. So when we blend the Reserva, it's already aged leaf, because we use aged leaf for that. So when we decided to blend this Lancero Reserva in 2017, the youngest leaf had 6 years old, and the oldest 9 years old. And now its release is 2021. So you add 4 years. So this is it was a young cigar but done with aged leaves, with an extra aging. So it's really playing with aging. So this is why I was a bit long. So I said I prefer dialogue and monologue, but I engaged already in a very long monologue. This is why La Ley is very dear to my heart, and the Reserva, also the Reserva concept. And this Lancero, for me, it's a fantastic size. It's a really size I really like. So I hope you'll be in a position to enjoy it if you I do a little bit of commercial. You see, I'm very bad in commercial because I'm coming from the scientific part. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a commercial. I'm not a marketing guy. I just say what I think, which is sometimes very good, sometimes very bad. So I feel a bit uncomfortable putting you in this position, but really it's important to support the place, buy a lot of cigars from our brands, and you'll have access to this cigar. Just a little information. The face value, the public price, the retail price of this cigar is 33 euros. So this is an exceptional cigar, and it was only produced in 8,000 units. So it's very limited production. Okay, so now I stop. I spoke already too much. Again, I have a beer there. I will stay here. We enjoy cigars. If you have questions, I'm really here to. Yes, fantastic. The first one is always the most difficult one, and I like to say there is no stupid question because people are always scared. There is no stupid question. There are only stupid answers.
But you haven't heard my question yet.
Yeah, no. This is a disclaimer.
What drink do you recommend?
What drink?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a difficult question. No, that's a very easy question, but a difficult to answer. Because there you mentioned a pairing of two things together. First, the appreciation of one thing is already difficult by itself. Because maybe this cigar, I love it, maybe you try it, you say, oh, it's not so good. It's very personal. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. when we talk about pairing two things together, it's even more difficult, more emotional. So for me, if I answer for me, it depends really on the condition. And the spectrum is large. For instance, I live in Asia. I love tasting cigars with tea, with Chinese tea, Chinese leaves, Chinese tea. I think it's fantastic. After we can debate what kind of tea. If I take maybe another example, with champagne, I like with the sparkling, with the bubble, I like it. I like also. If I take in the middle, I'm from Belgium. I love beers. I love special beers. Not too much lagers. I like Weizen beer, so more character. Classic option is cognac, whiskey, rum. I love rum. So basically, I do not answer your question because I say everything, right? But this is at the same time it's what it is. For instance, how do you like to pair them? Pair the cigars.
I have no idea, of course, I didn't taste it yet.
So we'll help you. What was the last pairing cigar and drinks that you had?
Nicht mit Whisky.
Whisky?
Nein. Er wollte Rum sagen. Rum.
Rum, of course.
Yes, rum. Rum is a good option. Rum and cigars they somehow come from the same area, so it's a natural association. What I personally like rum a lot. My problem with rum or with whiskey, with cognac, with armagnac, with spirits, is that I'm a drinker. So and I'm very slow smoker. So I take a lot of time. So that makes the result is like I drink too fast. So and short drinks, and especially for instance, I like to drink cask strength. So 50%, 55, 60, 65%. At the end of the cigar, the result is sometimes a bit like funny. But maybe with a glass of water on the side, so I can drink more, because otherwise I drink the spirit too fast. And for instance, some cocktails also, but not too sweet. I don't like sweetness. I like sweetness, but not too much sweetness.
Slowly.
Yes.
Water.
I Prost. Thank you very much. Prost.
Prost.
What I was saying also, some cocktails. I like long drinks, generally talking, because I take so much time for the cigar, so I like long drinks, or several drinks. Long drinks, but not too sweet. For me, sweetness is good, but too much sweetness will probably crash a little bit on the cigar. Too fine drink will be crushed by the cigar. Pairing is also putting things together the best way possible.
This is the first time I'm smoking this cigar, and it's a very creamy, very elegant, very light cigar. I believe the best pairing would be something light, either champagne or a very light, not too strong spirit, a light rum, not too sweet, not too strong, because it would overpower the cigar. The cigar is just absolutely elegant, very light, very flavorful. That's my impression. And thank you very much, Didier.
Oh, my pleasure. When Andres is standing, we are all very impressed. Yes.
Do you think it will be better to age 1, 3, 5 years more? Different in the taste?
Oh yes, the taste profile, the aromas, taste, and mouthfeel. Those are the three basic elements that I like to perceive. They will definitely evolve with time. Definitely. Now, is it a good evolution or not? That's a personal perception. This cigar was rolled was planned and rolled a few years back already. It was rolled in 2018, early 2019, something like that. I'm not forgot exactly. But so let's say 3 years back. So 3 years back, it was already very aged. So it's already an aged cigar. So some people will say yes, maybe it's too much aging. I don't think it's too much aging.
No,
I think it can take some more.
it could rest at
Yes.
least another 5 years in my. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Even though it's still good now. And this is strange. This is strange because in good cigars, there are some good cigars that I enjoy tasting now. But I say easily they can take another 10 years. Because I like aging. I like that. For instance, if you take aged wines, people don't like the color of aged wines, don't like the smell of aged wines. But that's personal. But I like it. But it needs to have a character. I don't like things when they don't have character. Jericho, cigars also. So I believe with this curve of aging, if you take quality and time, we start with initial quality. So normally some cigars they do this, those are the bad cigars. Some other cigars they do that, they go up, they go to the climax, and then after they slowly go down. In function, if the consummation is good.
The question is when is the right time?
That's
You have
difficult
to
to
buy a
say.
box and taste every half year. Or...
Excuse me. Generally talking, when I like something, I buy 2 boxes.
Okay.
Because when you open a box, it's like when you open a bottle of wine. We're getting into the details. I like to buy 2 boxes because 1 box I keep closed until I say this is the right time to open it. The first box I compromise it. I open it and I try. Several times, and I try to understand where is it on the curve and how is the curve. But also when we talk about very specific cigars, once you open the box, we need to taste the cigars quite quickly because they get oxidated, like a bottle of wine, but less obvious. When you open a good bottle of wine, if you open it today, you drink half of the bottle. You will not keep half of the bottle for another month because you just kill the wine. It's a bit similar, but on what I would call unstable cigars. Some cigars are very good, but they're unstable when they are old, for instance. Let's do a little analogy. Can I use this? Okay, so if you look at this, is it balanced or is it not balanced?
It seems like balanced.
It seems, come on. It seems balanced or it is balanced?
Sure.
It is balanced. Okay. Is it stable or is it not stable?
Stable.
Stable, okay. Is it balanced or is it not balanced?
Balanced.
Now it's balanced again.
Yeah.
It's balanced again.
Other side.
Is it stable or is it not stable?
It's more stable than before.
Okay. So in physics, there is a difference between balance and stability. And you have a stable balance and unstable balance. There is a physician, a scientist in the somebody is a PhD in physics or in chemistry or something like that. I like to ask a question so I know if I can bullshit a little bit. No, but this is logic. So this is stable, but it's not balanced. Because if I do a little deviation, it will lose its original state and re-establish a balance, but much more stable. Because here, if I do this even a bigger deviation, it will come back in the original state. So that's the difference between a stable balance and unstable, stable balance and unstable balance. In cigars, it's the same thing. You have cigars. The balance for me is how the harmony that we have in the plant, the 5 leaves together, how harmonious they are. They can be very strong. Are they harmonious or not? Some cigars, they are still. So this is a balance. Stability. When we have a young cigar, you can puff like we say puff like a firefighter. It will stay relatively balanced because it's very stable. If you have an old cigar, if you smoke it too fast, you will lose the product. If you open a great wine and you drink it before too fast, before it breezes a little bit, you will lose the product. And I like to use analogy, and I like to use this analogy in German, because you guys like cars, and you have a lot of nice cars production. I just did one mistake because I was in Stuttgart 2 days back, and I used the wrong example. I used the Audi example, and I just understood. They told me that I should have used a Porsche example in Stuttgart. So maybe in what Audi is from?
Ingolstadt.
Ingolstadt. So Ingolstadt, I know I can use Audi, but here I don't know what I should use.
Opel.
Opel, no, that's not. Yeah, I don't know. So let's use the Stuttgart example. So if you have like a Porsche. I'm not so good in cars, but which one? The Carrera 4S Turbo, good car. And we go south in Bavaria, in front of a mountain. I say, okay, you take the car, you go as fast as you can on top, and then as fast as you can, you come back. So I do that. I go. Okay, now I take a very specific, for instance, Ferrari. Very specific, very difficult to drive, and I do the same thing. If I do exactly the same thing, I will go out of the road. I will destroy the car for sure, and I will kill myself maybe. Why? Because Ferrari is not as good as a Porsche. No. Because one car, in both cases, there are two fantastic cars. But one, even though it's a very advanced car, one is much more forgiving. It forgives some little mistakes. So if I do little mistakes, it will forgive me. Another car, and we can change, of course, we can change the brand names of the cars and the types. But the other car will not forgive any mistake. If I do a little mistake, I'm out. This is the difference between a driver and a pilot. The pilot, before driving a car, will turn around the car, will analyze, will look at the steering wheel, will look at the transmission, will look at the engine, what kind of engine is that, what kind of wheels, what kind of brakes, what kind of all that. This is the pilot attitude. I need to understand the product before I use it. I need to understand the car before I drive it. Before. Some cars we don't need to do that because they forgive. It's the same for cigars. Some cigars we don't need to understand them because they are very stable. They can forgive us. Some other cigars, other products, other wines, other rums, other whiskeys. If we don't understand them, if we don't put them in the right condition, if we smoke them too fast, if we smoke them too humid, if we smoke them outside to the wind, we will lose them. They will not deliver what they have inside. Maybe we don't realize it, but this is what will happen. The example of the car is very obvious because if we do mistake, we are out of the road. It's very simple. In cigars, sometimes, and I knew that, I realized it because I made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I try to learn from those mistakes. Yeah, this is it. I don't know why we started with this, but that's yours.
I think you have to write a manual for smoking the cigar.
But this is the manual, is the book that so all those little stories that are the fruit of many years of reflection, of exchanges, of mistakes, of understandings around the cigar. I put that in the book now. For instance, this car example, I think is in the book. I know I put the boxing example in the book, the car example, probably. Yeah, that makes sense or not?
Yep.
Nobody makes sense. Yeah. I like analogies. When I was at university, sometimes you study thermodynamics, you study mechanical fluids, you study these kind of things. You see, what's for? Unless it's very specific studies for a certain career, of course, that makes sense. But sometimes people tell you some knowledge, and you say, but what for? Sometimes it's not obvious. When we talk about the balance of cigars, sometimes it's not obvious. When we talk about the stability of very specific cigars, if we smoke them too fast or something like this, sometimes it's not obvious. So good analogies sometimes helps understand very easily the challenges.
I've got a question. How come that Nicaraguan cigars have become now the biggest producer in the world? And usually when you smoke Nicaraguan cigars, they never have quality problems, almost never. Whereas Cuban cigars often have quality problems, although Cuban cigars are so famous.
Okay, that's a very simple but very difficult question also. Nicaragua, why we talk about two things actually. The position of Nicaragua in the cigar world now versus 20 years back. And your question also has a second part, which is about the difference in quality. Or the fact that you seem to complain very often about Cuban cigars and not that often about Nicaraguan cigars in terms of quality, purely quality. So those are two different questions. For the first one, Nicaragua suffered a very intense civil war, and the stability the stability came back in the second half of the 90s. Officially the first half of the 90s, but concretely more second half of the 90s. So Nicaragua was much less, even though there is a tradition of cigar making in Nicaragua, not as long as Cuba, not as long as the Dominican Republic, but still a little tradition. There was a little tradition, but they suffered from the Civil War. So they were left behind during the cigar boom in the US in the 90s. So they could not surf on that wave. But stability came back in the late 90s, and they really got back on that delay and developed like tremendously. For I think one reason, for maybe two reasons. The first reason is because they were just out of that war. They were saying, okay, let's stop those fights between the families, and this is very painful. So let's think about the future. So in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, there was this desire to progress and to evolve and to see the future, to look at the future and to do things for the future. That's one. Second, Nicaragua is the biggest Central American country with a huge diversity in geology. And the geology creates the soil profiles. And on the soil profiles, there are a lot of different microclimates. So the diversity, the agricultural diversity, that gives potentially a lot of options to plant tobacco here and there, black tobacco here and there, and then potentially to produce a huge diversity of leaves, and therefore a huge diversity of blending. This diversity in Nicaragua is just is immense. A lot of Lisbon took the exile. Some went to Dominican Republic, and some went already to Nicaragua. But in '79 happened the Sandinista revolution in '79 in Nicaragua. So some of those students they left for Honduras. This is why also Honduras had an advance on Nicaragua, because it was not a socialist country. So this is why there was a tradition already, and slightly longer than that also, but there was already a tradition of cigar making in Nicaragua, but underused, underdeveloped, and they started developing when they wanted to progress, when the peace came. They wanted to progress in the year 2000. When I arrived in the year 2000 in Nicaragua, the production of export cigars were, I think, around 3 million, something like this. Export long filler export cigars. I think in 2017, 2018, Nicaragua became the number one. So. Went on top of the Dominican Republic, which has been the number one for many years. And so yeah, I think 2018. And also, this is long filler export cigars. But what we need to highlight also is this is one. Those are cigars made in Nicaragua and exported from Nicaragua. But cigars made in Nicaragua might be made from Nicaraguan leaves, but also from international leaves, like the other countries. Cuba, República Dominicana, Mexico, Honduras, Costa Rica, all the producing countries, Indonesia, China, all those countries, they are using international leaves for their blends, whether they say it or not. That's a fact. So Nicaragua also has a huge position in production of raw material, leaves, and exporting the leaves. So it's a big exporter in leaves and a big exporter in cigars. So this is to talk about, to reply to the first part of your question. Did I reply to the first part of your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Because sometimes I get lost in my ideas and I speak for 15 minutes and then I realize, my God, I didn't reply to the question yet. The second part of your question is a very slippery question. Or no, the question is very easy, but the answer can be very slippery. Why quality seems to be or is better in Nicaragua than in Cuba? First, what is quality? Quality, let's focus on the draw and the burn. Just the draw. The draw. Why is it slippery? Because it's a political question. Or the answer might be taken as politically incorrect or oriented. The structures of productions are very, very different. The structures of productions are very different. The structures of productions are very different, and then everybody needs to experience that and to take their own decision. But the reason comes from the structure of production. Whether there is those are private companies.
Let's keep it simple and say the system.
Yeah, the system. This is what I mean. The structure of production.
That's very diplomatic.
Yes, it's linked to the system.
Because the private company has better quality control.
It's not necessarily better quality controls, but I think in private companies, if you do, it's you always have problems. Nothing is perfect. You have big problems and small problems, and you have problems that are there one time and problems that are there all the time, or too often. In private companies, there is with a vertical integration, so you see all the layers of the production. It's much easier to realize where is the problem, where we can act, because sometimes the problem that we see here comes not from this part of the production, but it comes from there. But if the production is layered and you don't have visibility in between the layers, it's very difficult to realize that. I think this is one of the problems. There's too many layers with no good communication between the layers.
Can I use an analogy?
Yes.
A car analogy?
Again, yes. What?
Which-
Porsche or Audi?
No, which car would you rather buy 30 years ago? A Lada, a Trabi from East Germany, or a Mercedes?
The Lada.
A Lada, okay. But don't complain about quality and production.
Yeah. So that's one part of the answer. A second part of the answer, there are some fantastic cigars coming out of Cuba, and there are some pretty shitty cigars coming out of Nicaragua. It's just also a personal journey to try to select the right ones in whatever country you like, because also what comes out of Cuba has a Cuban typicity process in the leaves, the way it's done. So whether we like it or not, we might want to focus there. And likewise for Nicaragua. So it's also a personal. I think life is too short to do things that I don't like, or to smoke cigars that I don't like, wherever they come from. So it's my job to try to put myself in the condition where I find the right thing where I want to find it. Did I answer your question? That's a very classic question, but also very difficult to answer because it becomes very politic and politic because some people say, yeah, this is socialist country, so quality is always cheap. It's socialist countries, and this is liberal country, and liberal country, everything is the best. But I don't want to get into this.
Does it have to do well aging?
No.
The leaves are not aged enough, or the cigars are not aged enough before going to export.
No, it's not about aging. I think. Aging is improving the quality that is already good. Good aging.
Cuban cigars, when you put them into the humidor for some months, they're becoming better. If you buy certain Nicaraguan cigars, when I buy a cigar from Reiner, the Nicaraguan cigar, it's already good. Or
Yes, but this I tend to slightly disagree with you, sir, because maybe it's just a matter of words that we use. I think a bad cigar, when you age it, becomes less bad. But it's still a bad cigar. Depends where the problem is. If it's an organic problem, it stays there forever. You can age it. I have smoked cigars for many years, 20 years, 30 years. When they bitter, when they're bad, they're bad. Even after 20 years of age, they become slightly less bad, but they're still bad. And what I was mentioning earlier is the potential of aging. When you have a potential of aging, it is already a good product. But if you keep it, it will become better. So maybe it's a difference like this and a difference like that. So in relative terms, it might be looking very similar, but on what it's applied, the dog agrees. He agrees. On what it's applied makes the whole difference. Yeah. Mr. Nuno, that was well said, or?
Well, you know, I'm a Cuban smoker. I smoke Cuban 99%, but he's right. The quality of the Cuban cigars are very inconsistent. And in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, it's not a political opinion, but it is politics. It is the system. And if they would have private companies in Cuba doing quality control, et cetera, it would be better. And I'm saying this having the knowledge about Cuba. I don't smoke many Nicaraguans, I don't smoke many non-Cubans, but I love Cubans just for the aromas, for the taste. But the construction is not really that good. That's why I use that analogy, which is maybe political, but it's about a system, and that's all.
Yeah, yeah. That's a difficult question. It's a difficult question.
I have one more question.
After 3 questions, it's 5 euro per question, huh? Or you need to
Okay.
So you want to keep it a monologue?
I read about your interview for Cigar Journal, and then there's told that you have a cigar and put a glass of water
yes.
over it.
Yes.
Whole glass of water over the cigar.
Oh yes, and more
Yep.
if you want.
Yeah.
And this is from a common friend of us,
Menroni.
Mironi. So
Yep.
this gentleman showed me this and shows that to
Yep.
everybody.
And it
that
works.
Yes.
Works very good.
Works.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you have it under running water before you cut it.
So,
Yeah, you put the cigar under running water before you cut it. And then just
¿Te puedes pedir un vaso lleno de agua y un
sí,
vacío, por favor?
ein Glas Wasser und ein leeres Glas.
Glas Wasser? Ja.
Ganz kurz und dann hart.
Yeah,
Du durchlässt hier.
I've seen it, I've done it, it works. It makes the wrapper,
Wann macht man das?
bevor man die Zigarre aufschneidet.
Und warum? Okay.
Falls du noch
Guck mal auf.
passiert ist, wenn du schneidest, dann ich mach das auch.
Was erzählst du mir so denn?
So look. I try not to spit everywhere, but okay. So it's wet, huh?
Okay.
So you dry. Well, it's not drying it, but you apply the water evenly everywhere. Then you light it. Can I use your? Thank you.
Stable. Stable. Yeah. Well done.
I forgot to cut it.
Ja.
Ja, das ist ein Profi.
Amateur mistake.
Also forget. Ah, that's a good one. Dankeschön. And nobody's saying nothing. You're just watching. Like a fool, like an innocent. You are not good friends, huh?
Das macht das Deckblatt viel angenehmer. Es
Was
funktioniert.
ist der Effekt dabei?
You see, no problem to light it. It's burning white. The wrapper after is much more silky, much more like velvet.
Okay.
And basically by humidifying, especially this is to be done especially on old
Yep.
cigars.
Yep. Not on young cigars. Yes.
You can, but it doesn't make such a big difference.
Doesn't make sense,
It
yeah.
makes a big difference on old cigars. Why? Because there are different ways. There is a very good book that will come out in January, where it's explained very nicely.
Which book?
Okay. Yeah. You see, he's no salesman at all.
Yeah. Sometimes because whatever. So there are different ways the aromas, especially the aroma is in the nose, taste is in the mouth, mouthfeel is in the mouth also. But here, this changes the distribution of aromas only. Basically, when a leaf is aging, there is an evolution. It's losing a little bit of contents of organics inside. It's generally talking slightly drier. Generally talking, not always, depends how we conserve it. But when we apply water, the distribution of aroma through the aerosol, it's actually a vaporization here, and it's getting vaporized much easier. So by putting more water, we give a vehicle for the distribution of aromas. Sorry?
Carrier.
A carrier,
A carrier. Thank you. A carrier.
a car, a vehicle,
Yes.
Audi.
a Mercedes.
Yeah, a carrier. So, in pharmacy, you probably have the same concept a lot of time. In order to distribute a certain product, you add another product which eases the distribution. It's the same here. So more scientifically is written in the book, but it's not really so interesting. Really, what is interesting is to start with the experience. If you try it, for instance, with our friend, we tried so many cigars, one completely soaked in water, and one out of the box, and we tried. So I think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Thanks to me, Ronnie,
Yeah.
that shared this idea and many other ideas also. We can evolve and learn how to put difficult cigars in the best situation to have this aromatic distribution, but only aromatically here.
There's another lesson that Min Roni taught me, and he calls it the slow smoking technique, especially with lanceros, with thin cigars, to smoke them as slowly as you can, and that also really works.
Yeah. Yes. And this is what I was saying, and this is why I like to discuss about this, because I learned so much from not a lot, but a few people who had a lot of experience and who were nice enough to share this. And this is how I learned. Not only that, because I've been thinking a lot also, and take this and that and put everything together. That's a big work also. But definitely, this gentleman, Mironi, has.
And if the cigar doesn't smell good, you can use wine or whiskey.
Some do. They think. I never.
No.
Yeah, no. We need to try. Let's see.